My name is Pranshman Narang. Thank you for participating in my survey today. Could you kindly please state your name?
Hey, Pranshman Narang. It's nice to talk to you. My name is Andrew Siddle, and I'm a design engineer here at Schaeffler.
Thank you so much. Now, before we start the interview, I would just like to go on over some rules. You cannot leave the discussion until all the questions have been answered. You can also not use any mobile devices as well as your phone during the interview, or use that to search any answers to the questions I will be asking you. Is that understood?
Sounds good.
Thank you. Okay, so the first question I want to ask you is, where are you most likely to go shopping and why?
Well, I mostly prefer to go shopping in a shopping mall where I have a bunch of options. I usually don't go in shopping knowing a specific brand that I'm going to shop at, and that's the only brand I want to go to. I have a bunch of brands and options, so usually that something like that I can find at a shopping mall. My first bet, I have a bunch of shopping malls around me, so it depends on which mall offers the kind of clothing I'm interested in buying at the time. But yeah, that's where I usually like to go shopping.
Okay. The second question is, what do you focus on when you're purchasing a new item, a clothing item?
Well, for me, the fit is the most important part of what I look for in a clothing apparel. I am a relatively curvy woman, so a clothing apparel can either make or break my outfit for the day. So when I like to go shopping, I like to make sure that I try on the apparel and it fits around my curves and it fits me well. On top of that, another thing I consider is the pricing of the apparel itself. I wouldn't be opposed to spending about $80-$90 for Lululemon pants, But when that same pants goes for about $300, that's when I like to hold on. The pricing and the fit of the apparel are what I would say two most important things that I look for.
Okay. And what are important and unimportant retail apparel features to you? Example, I'm talking about style, function, or durability.
Well, first of all, the important thing for me is the make of the cloth itself. I would never buy 100% polyester, even though I'm only buying it for my workout outfit. I would still not go for the 100% polyester. That would just not allow my body to breathe. There has to be some cotton, some fibers in my clothes that assures me that I'm not wearing a cheap material. That's one thing. Something unimportant would be brand names for me. I wouldn't debate over Under Armour or Patagonia or Nike. But yeah, I do. I would not even mind going to Walmart if I find a good apparel there that I'm interested in buying. So that would be kind of unimportant, just the brand name.
Okay. And how does durability and quality of a clothing line affect your purchase decisions?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
How does the durability and quality of a clothing line affect your purchase decisions?
Oh, it's very important for me. Durability of a cloth. If I'm spending a good chunk of money on a clothing apparel, I would expect it to last years and years for me. So that can only be ensured if the durability of the cloth or the item that I'm buying is top notch, and the functionality as well. Because I don't want to blatantly go out and just buy random outfits that I think I'll wear someday. That's not being outfit to the clothing, to the apparel itself. So, one thing, for example, that I like functionality-wise is that these days I can go out there and I can buy summer dresses with pockets in them. That was an unheard concept about 3 to 4 years back, but now that's a huge functionality for me. I can finally wear summer dresses during the summertime and not bother about bringing a purse with me because I have a pocket in which I can put my phone and my credit cards and whatnot, you know? But such tiny things make or break the outfit.
So do you check where the product is made and how is it made, fabrics, etc.?
Absolutely. I turn the other eye sometimes to where the outfit's been made because it's usually, you know, Asian countries, and you know that that doesn't really affect what you're buying. What you're buying is really whether the outfit is durable, whether it's cost friendly, and whether it's a good fit. Those are some of the important things, and some of the more where I put more preference than others.
Okay. What do you know about the supply chain of garment manufacturing?
Well, I've had a family member who is part of the fabric industries, and he used to be looking for apparel back in the Asian nations, where currently the manufacturing of fabrics happens. And he would often tell me about the cost of a meter of a cloth meter squared, and I would compare the same price with an outfit here, and you kind of understand how the supply chain of that really comes in, because that tells you these are how many different hoops the product, the raw material, I must say, goes through. So you get the cotton, for example, and then you got to weave it into threads, and then you got to knit it. So that's something that you can afford for a dirt cheap price with these materials. But once the cloth is made and then it goes through the whole branding, is where the price really picks up. So I do have a little bit of a background with the supply chain of fabrics.
Okay. And what impacts does sustainable clothing have, and what are your feelings towards these impacts?
Well, what do you mean by sustainable clothing?
I'll revise that question. For example, do you ever purchase second-hand clothing? Why or why not?
Well, I do. I love shops like Plato's Closet. Then there are a bunch of other individual, privately owned companies where, I just love the concept. These places will only take back clothes which have been bought in the past year or 2 years, and that is something I would absolutely buy. I would absolutely go ahead and buy that as a second-hand product because these clothes are in pretty good shape. Organizations like Plato's Closet will not buy back faulty clothes which have holes in them, or you know that they're run down, or they have stains on them. So you know that the quality you're buying, even though they're second-hand outfits, is still pretty good. And absolutely dirt cheap prices. I can assemble an outfit for about $6 if I go ahead and buy second-hand products, and they're still pretty good quality, and no one would be able to tell. Some of the outfits that I wear are about 6-7 years old, so if I'm going ahead and buying second-hand, which is still only a year old, I'm getting a better deal than the 6-7-year-old outfits that I have. And if I can wear that, I can definitely wear a year-old outfit.
Okay. So, in regards to that, can you please explain me your understanding of recycled clothing and your interactions with it, if any?
Well, I've had interactions where I go to Plato's Closet, and sometimes I find a good Hollister shirt for about $5, which would be, and they usually specify the sale price, and that sale price is about like $60-$70. And if you get $5 back, that's a pretty good supply chain right there, that I think. But I would assume with secondhand, a lot of them, like Salvation Army, they would take items that have been brought to them for free and then sell them at a retail price of $5 or $6. So that's the supply chain there that I would understand that the recycling clothes go through.
Okay. And what do you do with your own used, ruined, or out-of-style clothing?
So sometimes I give it to welfare. That gives me a good tax rebate. Other times, if the item is completely in ruins and it's tearing apart, I would often throw it out. I don't know how to. I don't think the state that I'm in Ohio, and I don't think that's the case believes in recycling. So I would throw out the worn and torn out clothes, but some of the items that I haven't worn in about 2 years, and they're still in pretty good condition, I give back to Salvation Army, or I sell it back to Plato's Closet, or sometimes I just give it to the welfare. So those are some of the things that I do.
Okay. Now we'll be moving on to some questions about Patagonia. Could you please share your knowledge of Patagonia's purpose, its mission, or its values?
Well, I know that Patagonia, I'm not too aware of the missions of Patagonia, but I personally love Patagonia beanies because they are good quality. They have they're double layered. That's with wool inside, and it's a pretty good fit. I have a relatively larger head, so Patagonia beanies fit me really well. Their socks are pretty well. But in terms of their mission and what their goal is, I know that they do some of the cost that they charge goes to nonprofit organizations. But beyond that, I'm not too aware of Patagonia's mission.
Okay. Why do you wear Patagonia's clothing or its products?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Why do you wear Patagonia's clothing or its products?
Well, I know it's good quality, that's for sure. Sometimes when I wear a Patagonia sweater, it's very comfortable. It's very soft to touch. I feel very comfortable inside, and it caters to some of my hobbies. I like to go hiking and trail running in the wintertime, and usually the brand that I turn to oftentimes is Patagonia because of their exercise line in the clothing in the winter department.
Okay. When you think about Patagonia, what words pop in your mind?
The mountains in South America.
Okay. Do you know any of the campaigns?
What's that?
Do you know any of their campaigns? Could you explain them?
I'm not aware of their campaigns, actually.
I understand. Okay, now moving on to more of fashion questions. This will be our last section. Do you think fashion has changed over the last 2 years, and how?
Oh, absolutely. I think fashion has tremendously changed. I think 2 years back we were high-waisted dresses and skirts. And now I see more checkers coming in. I see a lot more plaid. I love the concept of plaid. And I love the concept of Patagonia bringing in plaid in their sweaters. I think that's a cool idea.
Okay.
Fashion changes quarterly, let alone yearly or 2 years or biannually. So biannually, I mean, and there is no way to stop the change in fashion.
And have you heard the term fast fashion?
Fast fashion?
Yes.
No, I haven't actually. What is it?
It is an approach to the design, creation, and marketing of clothing fashion that emphasizes making fashion trends quickly and cheaply available to consumers. Fast fashion has also become associated with disposable fashion because it has delivered designer product to a mass market at relatively low prices. So now when I've said this, what do you feel about fast fashion?
Oh, I think it brings more options, if anything, because I understand that fast fashion is an easy track or a fast track that the designers take to mass producing a certain kind of trend. Like, for example, crop tops the concept of crop top is a fashion trend. But the different kinds of crop tops where you can have the elephant-centered crop top, or you can have different patterns going through. You can have leopard prints. Those are the different deviations that the crop top trend takes, which in a way is fast track shopping and fast track fashion, and I personally like that because it gives me a variety in size under the crop top to pick whatever my style is. I personally would not go for a leopard print, but I would go for a more checkered print on my crop top. So that's my preference, and I would actually appreciate fast track fashion because of that, because that's what allowed me to wear crop tops with my style.
Okay, so in your viewpoint, what are some positive and negative effects of fast fashion?
Well, you can have a lot of sometimes you can have a lot of, I don't know, I don't want to use that word, but trash on the in the market and trash on the racks. I guess, where you just keep going through different items and items and items, and nothing appeals to your eyes. Just because of fast track, there's so many different outfits out there that finding the right ones becomes that much harder. So I can see that as being a disadvantage.
Okay. In conclusion, I want to ask you two more questions.
Okay.
Overall, do you feel Patagonia is properly delivering their brand message and company purpose?
Well, I don't think so, because I buy Patagonia outfit. I buy Patagonia pretty often, and I haven't heard of their mission or their goals. So I guess they have some room to improve.
Okay. And what would make you keep your Patagonia clothing longer?
What would make me?
Yes.
Well, my Patagonia outfits last pretty long. Not gonna lie.
So on average, how long do you keep a garment that you have purchased? And how long do you keep a garment that you have purchased from Patagonia?
I usually keep it about 8-9 years. I mean, I've been wearing all Patagonia items that I have bought. I've never discarded of any, so it is a lifelong outfit for me, I guess.
And then what makes you most often remove a clothing apparel from your closet?
Well, if it's completely out of fashion or I've outgrown it, I usually discard of it. If I've outworn it, then it would be completely torn apart. That's another reason I throw it away. But for me to stop wearing something, I would see it getting out of fashion or it just becoming too dull to me.
Okay, that is the end of this interview. I want to thank you for your time, and it was a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much.
Same here. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You as well.